Okay, folks, so we're going to do some test type questions now that involve simplifying radicals. So we've got to change entire radicals to mixed radicals in simplest form as always, and simplify some mixed radicals that are already mixed but not quite simplified. So let's take a look at this first one. What is the simplest form of the square root of 72? Well, this is a good question, I think, because 72 is one of those numbers that has a lot of perfect square factors. So let's take a look at the number 72 for a second. And I look at all of its factors. I can take 2 times 36. Let's see, I can take 3 times 24. And we can have 4 times 18. And 6 times 12, I think. And then maybe 8 times 9. So there's a lot of factors of 72. And not only are there a lot of factors of 72, but there's a bunch of them that are perfect squares. So for instance, 4 is a perfect square, 9 is a perfect square, and 36 is a perfect square. But remember our rule, when you have multiple options, we try to run with the one that is going to be the biggest one, because that gets us to the simplest answer in the end. And what's nice about that is that it's going to give them allow you to predict sort of what the distractors are going to be for your answers, so what the incorrect answers are over there. So let's go with the 36, which is the biggest one. So we've got the square root of 36 times the square root of 2. So I think that just makes 6 root 2. Okay, so it looks like C is the correct option. And these other guys, guaranteed the way they're coming up with those is picking things like, let's see, if you went with the 9 and an 8, you get 3 root 8, which was this incorrect answer. If you went with the 4 and the 18, you get 2 root 18, which is this incorrect answer. And let's see for this last one here, 36 root 2. Oh, okay, that's if you forget to square root your 36. But you can see where they're coming up with the sort of mistakes that people would make for the distractor answers. But that's the correct one. Okay, let's try the next question now. Simplify 14 times the cube root of negative 432. Negative 432. We got to find the biggest perfect cube factor of that. So if we start with the smallest factor we could get at a 432, other than 1 in itself, which would be a 2, that's usually a good place to start. So we're going to go with 2 times 216. And a good process, if you don't want to have to go through and list them all out, just check every one you get as you go down to see if you get a perfect cube. And as long as these numbers that you write down this way are just getting bigger one at a time, or as big as they can, or as little as they can at a time, then the first time you hit a perfect cube over here, that's going to be the biggest one. And in fact, if you checked this one, 216 cube rooted is actually just a 6. So we've got a perfect cube right away. 2 is a small number, so we're in business. So we're going to change this then to be 14 multiplied by the cube root of 216 multiplied by the cube root of 2. So then what we need to do is we need to take cube root 216 and find that cube root. And we get 14 times the cube root of 216, which we said was 6, times cube root 2. And then it's just a matter of taking 14 times 6. So that's 60 plus 24. So that's going to be, what, an 84 there, times the cube root of 2. So we've got 84 cube root 2 for simplified form for the simplest mixed radical we can get out of this guy. Okay, so the trick there is if you go in order when you start to write out your factors, and even if you're using your calculator, divide your 432 by 2 and see what you get. If it's a whole number, check to see if it's a perfect cube. If it's not, move on to the next number, etc., until you get the first one. And if you go in order, sort of slowly increasing there, you'll always get the simplest one. Okay, so remember, all the same processes that we had before work for these. Good luck with that, and we're going to roll on into throw in some variables into this stuff in the next couple of sessions. Thanks.